Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents and Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. I want to welcome those tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X. Also, we're welcoming our audience joining us on Instagram as well. We're about to connect with our friends over on Amazon and introduce you guys to today's guest. I'm excited about this one. If you guys are new to us on the Amazon side, welcome. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You see it either here in this corner or down below. You also will see the book by our next guest. We're excited to welcome Julie Ryan McGue to our broadcast today. She's the author of the book you guys see here, Twice the Family. We have it in our carousel, both in paperback as well as the Kindle edition. So make sure you guys grab it for yourself. I want to talk to Julie not only about her love of storytelling, but what it's been like for her through her writings to be able to share so much of her life with us, and also the lessons that many people are resonating with. If you guys have not gotten your copy of the book or not staying connected with Julie, we'll let you know how to be able to do that. But Julie, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me be here.
Well, look, the pleasure is definitely all mine. Excited about this. So, Julie, writing is not new to you, but one of the things that I think is so exciting about Twice the Family is about not only have you able to share so much of your own personal connections, but other people are making a connections with your story. What has that been like for you? I know the book just came out, but what has it been like for you to see the way that people are being able to connect with the book?
You know what? I love the conversations that surround the story. There's so many different themes in there that I think resonate with different kinds of readers.
Mhm.
There's the adoption thread. My twin sister and I were adopted together. But there's also the family building theme in the book. My parents put a family together with three adopted children and three biological children. And I think that theme is very relevant today as people build their families in unique ways. There's also grief and loss in the book. And I think people resonate with that as well because we all experience that. And to witness how someone else deals with those challenges, and particularly in a family environment, are some things that people really want to learn about.
One thing for me as a reader, Julie, that I took away from the book that it kind of runs throughout is, for one, finding one's place in the world, but also knowing that you belong, that you do have a place in the world. What was that like for you to think about as you were writing this book? How you've been able to embrace not only who you are, but all that you can be?
You know, one of the unique things about my story is that I was able to be raised with a full sibling. That's a very unusual situation in adoption. Catholic Charities was our adoption agency, and they have a policy not to separate multiple birth siblings. So I always had this strong sense of belonging to my sister. Um,
We lost our connection there briefly with Julie. Let's see. I think she's trying to come back now. Hello, Julie. Can you hear us? Hopefully, we'll be able to get that fixed. Hello, Julie. Can you hear us? Let's see. Julie, you there? Okay, we're going to see if we can get our connection fixed with Julie. I want to say some hello. Hello to you, Allie. Good to be able to see you over there on Amazon, and also on Instagram. Zen Zone, hello to you over there on Instagram. Antoine, hello to you. Pamela Hope. We're speaking today with Julie Ryan McGue. We're talking with her about her new book, Twice the Family. We're having a slight connection issue with Julie. Julie, can you hear us? Okay. We're going to see if we can get our connection fixed there with Julie. You know, anything can happen sometimes with the live broadcast. So hopefully, we'll be able to bring Julie back in. But we are discussing her book, Twice the Family, where she's able to talk about not only, of course, her own adoption, but also the family that she was with and what she was able to learn about herself, which I think is so powerful for all of us. I think as we're going through different situations in life, sometimes when we're in a situation like a family or around people, you know, there are people who will try to tell us who we are and what we can be. What is so great about Julie is that she's able to realize for herself who she can be. There she is. Hey, Julie.
yeah.
Sorry, lost you there for a second. But I wanted to ask you, as you were talking though about, you know, being able to be there with your sister, did that also help you in being more grounded and not feel so out of place? Because I think for a lot of people, when there is something familiar that they can hold on to, whether it's something from their home or something from their family. It kind of helps dealing with challenges and difficulties. Is that one of the things that you found in your situation?
Yes, to be able to have this person that understood me in every way, shape, and form, a lot of nonverbal communication between my sister and I always was
Mhm.
definitely a strong part of belonging. But I think the environment that my parents created was very strong. Family values were very strong. There was a lot of rigid religious beliefs, I think, that helped form the way I think about things. Love is a strong emotion, but in the Catholic faith, love your neighbor as yourself was certainly something that my parents instituted with all of us. And I think that sense of social justice was strong in the family, which created a lot of belonging.
Love that. Love it. Now, as I mentioned in my intro, Julie, writing is not new for you. I mean, you have been able to find success in your work previous to Twice the Family. What was that decision to write and share? What was that like for you? Was that something that came to you easily to decide to share so much of yourself, or how did you come to the place where you realized the experiences that you'd gone through and were going through were not just for you, but other people may get something from them too?
Oh, I love that question. I was always a journaler growing up, so I had a wealth of information that I could tap into when writing stories. But really, what happened was about 15 years ago, I had a health issue, and that necessitated trying to get medical history, which I didn't have because of closed adoption.
Mhm.
And so my first book is story launched what is now a late in life writing career. I blog about everyday moments, finding identity, finding meaning in my situation. And yeah, it's really a fun thing to have sort of fallen into this career. And I look forward to it every day, putting something out.
I love that, and when you were just saying that, I thought about something in the book, and I love the fact that the little moments though can mean so much. And one of the situations that I noticed your attention to detail, whether you were talking about the breeze, the way that you describe things like the sofa in the book, the red leather eagle crested sofa. You are a person that really seems to pay attention to those little things. Do you think that's one of the things also, Julie, that has helped you with your appreciation in life? Being able to really take time. We're all so busy. We all are scurrying around trying to exist. Do you think you're being able to take the time to really see the world around you has really helped you with your appreciation?
Well, I have always loved to read fiction, and one of the things that fiction does for writers is allow you to see the scene and the characters and the settings. And I think that's what makes good memoirs is to be able to utilize those tools that are prevalent in fiction and make a writer's life seem, alive for them. Um,
Mhm.
there's a really good book, The Tender Bar, which was eventually made into a movie, and the character there's a sofa in that book, and it is essentially a character in the book. And I love that you picked up on the red sofa because
Mhm.
that sofa is still in the family, and I do feel like it is a character or a strong staple in our family life.
Love that. Tina, hello to you. Tina Siemens is joining us there on Facebook. I appreciate you guys over there on Amazon as well. If you guys have any questions or comments for Julie, make sure you guys do put those in the chat. The chat is open. Also, again, we do have the paperback and the Kindle edition of Julie's book in the carousel there on Amazon, either on the side here or beneath us, depending on what device you're watching us on. You mentioned, of course, your writing career. I'm also now following you on Instagram. What has that been like for you to connect with people who you've never met, Julie, and to see the way that they're connecting with your story and also with your life?
Oh my gosh, what a great question. I had no idea if there was any adopted twins out there, and I have found 5 sets of adopted twins that I've connected through social media. One who has become a virtual good friend who's thinking about writing her story too. So the social media has been invaluable with connecting with readers, and I think what's so important is we can do that at our leisure and when it's convenient, and it's a very powerful tool for writers and for readers to connect.
Yeah, I've told people, Julie, I find that when used when used carefully and compassionately, social media can definitely be a great thing. And I think as the connections come, I think they're being able to find other people so you don't feel so alone. There's another thing that you write about in the book in chapter 32 I wanted to bring up because I think, again, it goes to your being able to pay attention to not only your surroundings, but also in thinking. There was a situation that happens in the book, and I love the way that you wrote this. And I think this is the question I have for you. You wrote that time the silence in the room was welcoming, full of certainty. It was not a what if, but a what next and how soon. I want to talk about that because I think what that said to me as when I got to that part in the book, Julie, was about possibilities, right? And being open to what could be. What was that like for you as you kind of thought about your story? That really part of this is instead of your choosing to think negatively and to think about what wasn't or what you didn't have, you were able to embrace what you did have and what could be.
You know what? It's so interesting when we decide to slow down the motion or the movement in a story.
Mhm.
And the silence became a very powerful tool in that chapter, um, allowing me to think about the silence and think about what the silence was doing for me as a character at that particular time. And
Mhm.
you're right, it did create possibilities. And I think that's something that we need to do more of in our lives is to let the silence come in and what emerges from that silence. That's the power of meditation, but also a solo walk. And really, given all the confusion and chaos in our daily lives, to welcome in the silence and let it help us and heal.
You mentioned this career in this chapter of your life, Julie. Do you still have those wow moments when you look at the books you've written and what you've shared in those books, and how not only I feel like there's healing for you, but the healing you've been able to bring to others?
You know what? I think life continues to give all of us a lot of material. I like to look at a moment in time and see what kind of lesson I'm supposed to derive from it. I
Yeah.
think that's one of the powers of memoirists is we'll take moments in time and draw some meaning to it that is from our own perspective. And hopefully it resonates with readers that they might take a closer look at daily events or happenings in their life and try to find some meaning.
Is part of this for you, Julie, in sharing the way that you do, not only, of course, acknowledging the challenges that can be with adoptions, because you do kind of you walk into, especially if you are the individual that's been adopted, you walk into a lot of uncertainty and what can be fear, but also the again going back to that idea of possibilities, the possibilities that can come from opening up your heart to other people. Is that one of the things that you hope kind of comes out of a book like Twice the Family?
For me, going back in time and working on this book, it spans 27 years. There was a lot of things that I didn't remember, and I had to collaborate with family members to
Mhm.
get all the details right to make it really true story. And I found that doing that timeline and working with family members was tremendously healing and fun. My mom had to weigh in on some of those chapters about my younger sister's death, which are in the middle of the book. And I think that it brought us together in ways that I could not have foreseen. It also, from my perspective as an adult now, going back and looking at my parents' family building, how much they struggled to put a family together and how much it meant to them, I have new respect and admiration for the job that they did. And I think that that's something that happens when we create oral histories with our family members. We gain new respect for their own struggles and challenges. And by asking questions, we learn about them too.
Such a great point. Wendy Arset, hello to you over there on YouTube. Glad you can join us. For those of you joining us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, if you guys are coming in late, there's a link that will bring you guys over to Amazon to be able to get Julie's books. If you guys are joining us on X, there's a link in the comment section. For those joining us on Instagram, we are going to put it. I have the link in my stories, but we're going to share it again when we share this broadcast. Julie, I'm so glad that we had a chance to have this conversation. What is your hope for people who are just discovering Twice the Family? It's already an Amazon bestseller here in the top 100. But for those who are just discovering it, what do you hope this book does for them when they read it?
I hope that they take a look at their own families and see that, no family is perfect.
Yeah.
Putting a family together is difficult, and to realize that families can survive a tragedy and adversity and come together if they have common purpose. And I believe in the strength of family, and I hope that's what people come to conclusion from reading the book.
Yeah, it's already right now in adoption, Julie, where it's currently number 6. So congratulations to you on that. It is a book that is powerful. I got a early release of the book, which I was appreciative of that. So I want to shout out She Writes Press and also Books Forward for making sure I got a chance to get that. But I so enjoyed your book, so enjoyed learning about your story. Julie, how can our audience stay connected with you?
They can go to my website, juliemcgueauthor.com. I write a bi-monthly blog that people can subscribe to, and all my books are available wherever books are sold.
Love it. Julie, thank you again for spending some time with us. Looking forward to our next chat together.
Thank you, Cyrus.
More than welcome. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents and Conversations Live. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.